a lot of people we've had on this week since camp opened say like 9 wins. 9 wins. Nine
Yeah.
wins is what we're thinking. And so conceivably to have 9 wins, home opener against the Raiders, that's a game you should win. The
Mhm.
Raiders, were not a very good team last year. They're the Patriots as it stands now are favorites in that game. But the Raiders have Pete Carroll as a coach, an established coach. Now they have Geno Smith, who's an established quarterback. They have some pieces. I'm not positive they're any worse than you are. What is the talent disparity between a team like the Raiders and the Patriots?
I think it's relatively even. I'd say the Patriots probably have a little more balance, where the Raiders have a little more star power. Like if you look at the Raiders with, Ashton Genty as the sixth overall pick, Brock Bowers, Max Crosby. How many players do the Patriots, if you take the quarterback out of it, how many players do the Patriots have at that level? I
One,
mean, probably one, right? Christian
Yeah.
Gonzalez.
right?
And those three guys. I mean, and we'll see with Genty, but I'm pretty confident he's going to be a really, really high end running back, like a top five-ish running back right out of the box. So, and Bowers, I think you can make the argument going into year two, Bowers has a chance to be the best tight end in football, and Max Crosby is what he has been the last few years, one of the best pass rushers. So, that said, maybe the Raiders have a few more holes. Like questions like what are they going to do at corner? The receiver situation, is sort of up in the air. So the Patriots probably have a little bit better balance across the roster. And then, obviously a quarterback, I think, based on performance, Geno's a better quarterback than Drake May, but the ceiling is way higher with Drake. So, like Drake still hasn't played at the level that Geno's been at and was at over his time in Seattle. But Drake was only a rookie, so we'll see where Drake takes it in year two.
Yeah, Drake should end up being way better than Geno
Right, of
Smith,
course. But I'm saying like right now, he
right,
like
but
like
no, but right now, that's the thing is that there's a tremendous amount of pressure on Drake May if 9 wins is the expectation because now you're asking him to take a monumental leap.
well,
You
and
know,
we've all made the like comparison to Washington, right? Like I think it was probably the first one to make it all the way back in March, and I think it's a fair comparison based on like the way they built the team. There are two factors that I think that are differences, right? First of all, Washington plays in the NFC, and there's a big difference there in making the playoffs in the AFC versus making the playoffs in the NFC. And the division that Washington is in, Dallas took a downturn, had all the injuries last year. Really, it was the Eagles, and that was it in that division last year. So, Washington had that going for them. The other thing is in going and doing last year what they did and what the Patriots did this year, which is bringing a bunch of guys you have background with that guys in the coaching staff know that are going to get you up to a competent level at a lot of different positions. You've made yourself competitive. What took Washington over the top last year was having a rookie quarterback that played at an absolutely historic level, right? So that's part of the equation too, is how big a leap does Drake May take in year two? Is he taking a jump to, okay, now he's a pretty good quarterback, now he's the 13th best quarterback in the league, the 14th best quarterback in the league. Does that get you to 10, 11 wins in the AFC? Probably not. If he's in the top 10, then maybe we're talking about them getting there. So I think this is I think the Patriots have leveled up to the point where maybe they're a middle of the pack team. The thing that could turn them into a playoff team is if Drake takes a bigger leap than a lot of people are expecting.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to think so, but there's still going to be, limited in terms of weapons and stuff. So he can progress and he can.
Washington outside Terry McLaurin was too.
what about their offensive line
The Patriots offensive line?
compared to Washington's offensive line?
Yeah, Washington's offensive line was just okay last year,
Okay.
which is why they went and got Laramie Tunsil, and why they drafted Josh Connerly in the first round. The guy they had playing left tackle for part of the year, Brandon Coleman, was a rookie who's now moved inside and playing guard like that. That was one of the positions, Fred, that they were really deficient at at the end under Ron Rivera that they sort of, I think, got up to middle to level ground last year. Like they
You
became
think that?
competent at
Do,
that in that
okay.
area, but they weren't great.
Do you think the Patriots are competent on the offensive line?
I think they can. Yeah, I think they're competent. I think if you look at the totality of it now, Morgan Moses is older. You know, you talked about age with Aaron Rodgers. Morgan Moses, you know, we'll see what that looks like at his age. He is older.
They have a horrible center.
Mike and Wen has been up and down, right? Yeah, what does Garrett Bradbury look like? You know, part of it for the Vikings. I mean, look, like, you know, I was just with the Vikings, and one of the things that they were really looking to do was get stronger at the center position to help JJ McCarthy. And they feel like they got bigger, stronger, and smarter with Ryan Kelly at center than where they were with Garrett Bradbury.
Dumb, weak, and small.
Doesn't mean Garrett Bradbury isn't like a decent player. He was okay. But they really felt like the need to go and upgrade at that position. So I think ideally at center, Jared Wilson beats him out. You
Okay.
know, I think that's the ideal. I think if Jared Wilson is what a lot of people thought he was before the draft, then he should be pushing for that job, and we'll see how that plays out during camp.
If you like that clip, and how could you not? Check out more videos from Toucher and Hardy here. Point slightly up and to the left. For more Patriots analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. Point slightly down and to the left. And for the latest from the Sports Hub, download at 985thesportshub.com.